Humans are builders at heart. We build tools to keep us comfortable and to explore across rivers, mountains, and continents, always with the goal of going faster, further, and higher. Engineers are the modern builders. They are driving us forward, creating greener solutions and higher performance, pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the ground, in the air, and even beyond. Today, we can measure everything we build. Modern sensors collect more data than ever before, adding more channels at ever higher sampling frequencies to better understand the systems we make and the world around us. Marple is at the heart of these innovations. We are on a mission to empower engineers to go even further by turning endless raw data into clear insights. Marple is built for what comes next.
Hello and welcome to the Marple Summer Update. We are completely live today from our office here in Antwerp, so everything you'll be seeing with a delay of plus minus 15 seconds is fully live, including a lot of demos. So anything might go wrong today, but that's obviously the charm of doing a totally live event. Today we'll be covering mainly things about our two main products, being Marple DB and Marple Insight. My colleagues will join me in the studio to give live demos. And of course, there will also be a live Q&A at the end. So at the sidebar on the right, you can ask any question you want to ask. Do be aware, you need to sign in to be able to ask a question. Any Google account will do. That can be a work account or a private account. And then we'll answer all the possible questions at the end and go through them either in the live stream or just on the chat. Before we dive into the products, I would like to invite my co-founder and also Marple CEO to the stage, Matthias Baert, who will tell us a little bit more about the broader company perspective and how we're looking towards the future. Welcome, Matthias.
Hello, Nero. Thank you for having me on this nice event. At least I hope it will be nice.
I think so.
I'm pretty confident.
I think it's a good thing that we have the event this week instead of last week with the heat stroke, the
heat wave
going across Europe. Still, with the lights on today.
Oh, it's not too bad, but for you it will be a bit worse. You'll be sitting here the whole time. But,
Agree. All right. So I think the last time we sat here in the same studio actually was for the Autumn Summit. Now a bit more than 6 months ago. A lot has happened since then. What are the main highlights you're taking away from the past 6 months?
Oh, the Autumn Summit. Yeah, in a way it feels like yesterday, but indeed it's already half a year ago. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things have happened, I think in a good way. And I'd like to show you, of course, with some slides. I prepared some slides.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
So yeah, we definitely reached some milestones in the past half year. We increased our revenue by 80%, which I think is very impressive and something I'm very happy and proud of. Also, the usage of Marple has increased significantly. Now over 5,000 engineers make use of Marple on a very regular basis.
And that's worldwide?
Worldwide, yeah, okay. Definitely. We are even outside of the globe, you could say we have some satellites maybe running on Marple.
Okay, awesome.
We also shipped some really cool features that I was waiting for a long time. Things like the reporter, the KPI dashboards, and even some agentic workflows finally made their way to the product. And last but not least, I would almost forget about it already, but we migrated all our customers, every single one of them, to Marple 2.0.
Awesome. That's quite some milestones that we achieved together. You talked a lot about engineers using Marple. Of those customers, of those users, who is using Marple at the moment, and also who are you most excited about?
Yeah, I'll actually start with something different. We did some events as well before, and then we jumped to the customers.
Yeah.
We did some really cool events with Bugatti Rimac. We did a webinar with a lot of people over there. I really liked that. Then recently we were in Nuremberg for a fair, also in Berlin at the SFTE. Yeah. And just last week we came back from Stuttgart for the Automotive Testing Expo. But the event that I liked the most actually was our Marple Munich meetup. which was really nice. We just invited a lot of customers from Munich to a nice place over there. And then just let them talk and let them present themselves. It was a very organic way of users meeting users and generating some content. We didn't even prepare anything. It was a really nice evening.
Yeah, I did remember in the end, like there were so many people who did want to bring a story to the scene. So the whole thing came together quite organically, I think.
Yeah, indeed, it was nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then you also had a question about
yes, indeed.
who was using it, and also I prepared something there. As you remember, but of course you remember, but maybe for the users, we're very active in automotive, aerospace, but also other sectors. Some really cool use cases that I like to highlight, or some companies that I really enjoy working with is, for example, Bugatti Rimac, with whom we did the webinar. But also vertical aerospace, and aerospace is making huge steps, and we're very glad to be part of that. But also a bit closer to home, Atlas Copco, using Marple for their compressors and so forth, and many more other companies as well. We're also very active with students, because we really believe those are the engineers of the future. In fact, we support 55 different teams. That is more than 1,500 students. I actually think it's a bit more, but at least 1,500 students made their way to Marple. All over the world, so literally US, Australia, Europe, Asia. A lot of students use Marple, and yeah, because we really believe those are the future engineers. So the future engineers will breathe Marple.
Yeah, I do remember you were telling me that on FSG last year, which is an event for former student teams. You were telling me that the default was shifting a bit towards Marple for showing data for scrutineering to like judges and stuff.
Yeah, really.
And it was a bit of a running joke indeed that Marple was becoming like
2 or 3 years ago it was maybe 2 teams,
yeah.
and then now it's 55 teams, 50 in FSG. So
that's basically a new generation growing up knowing Marple as the default instead of going through scripting and these kind of things.
Exactly. Yeah, that's our goal.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe looking ahead, we have been around for about 5-6 years with the company. A lot has changed, but also in the future a lot will change. What are some of the biggest changes in the market that you see and that we also as a company should adapt to?
I think in terms of industry changes, there's also a lot of shifting between automotive and aerospace and other industries. But in general, what we do see is how our customers actually start using Marple in a different way. And it's a topic that we cannot ignore anymore. It's all the AI and all the agentic workflows that also we are now focusing more upon. And stuff we see is customers that use their AI agents on top of MarpleDB, because it's really nice. You have all your data standardized and unified and available. Using their AI agents to create dashboards, different workflows, or just simply asking questions about the data. And that's also something that we will jump on as Marple in the future, but I think Jan in a few minutes will explain you more about it.
I think so indeed. All right. Thank you very much for joining me for this initial introduction. We'll see each other again for the Q&A at the end. So again, a reminder, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and we'll cover them later. Bye. All right, I'd like now to introduce to the studio Jan Scheers, our engineering lead. Welcome, Jan.
Hello, Nero.
How are you doing?
Great, yeah, you?
Good, yeah, a little bit hot, but that's fine. You're here today to talk about MarpleDB. MarpleDB is one of the 2 products that we as Marple currently offer. In the past 6 months, we invested a lot in the product. You as a engineering lead have also contributed a lot to the product. It has become the flagship product of Marple, I would say. What of these developments are you most proud of?
Yeah, I've got to say the last 6 months we've solved so many cool problems, so many complex, interesting things. But maybe the thing I'm most proud of is not necessarily like a difficult problem, but the decision we made last winter to really invest a lot into our Marple SDK. Because we saw this wave of AI and agentic coding coming, and we knew that the agents need to access the DB same as other tools would have. And also, I'm personally a bit of a hacker, so it's so nice to use. I barely even look at the UI anymore of MarpleDB.
Yeah, I think indeed often I see you uploading files with your Rust CLI tool rather than manually drag and dropping them in the
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, that's not as important as what the users are doing these days. And like some dashboards and cool agentic tools that our end users have been making the last couple of months have really blown my mind. It's insane.
All right, super cool. Of those use cases, do you have an example that you can show? Something that you can show to the people at home, like how it's working?
For sure, yeah. I'll just show you how we do it. So it's pretty simple. So you take your favorite agentic coding tool. For me, this is the Cursor agent. But of course, Claude, Codex, any of these, Mistral can work the same. You take our skill. So we have a Marple SDK skill, which basically just tells the agent, this is our documentation, this is our Marple DB SDK, how do you use it? And then you ask your question, just like this. It's, for example, this is an example that I pulled straight from our CEO that we just met before, Marple Matthias. He's a great guy. Amazing sim racer, I've heard.
Yeah.
He used to...
Depends on who you ask.
He used to code also, but I haven't seen him touch code in a while. But he still has questions of his data, and he doesn't know how to write SQL. He doesn't know how databases behind the scenes work these days. So for him, this is a black box. But still, he can solve questions that are really pressing for his specific use case, which is apparently Spa, Francorchamps, where he wants to know. So this is the exact prompt that he sent to Cursor. So it's where do I lose time on Spa? What's my best and worst corner? And as you see here, the agent starts off researching, looking around in the database, looking what is there. And at the end of a long session, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it has discovered what is what. It asks some questions, and then basically, so this is really cool. I'm going to show you the output of this prompt. It's a one-shot, so there's no extra tweaking after the fact. It's purely just one-shot, the data that he wanted to see, just like that. So
but that's a tool being informed about the abilities of Marple through a skill.
Yeah. Should
I?
So
I'll
go
ahead.
switch over. So this is it.
Wow, cool.
It's a Spa time loss dashboard is how the AI titled it. Basically, the AI has auto-detected some of the corners of Spa. There, per corner, you can see which one did I lose the most time on versus my ideal scenario. You can, for example, switch to, let's say, Pouhon is the slowest one, so let's switch to that one. Look exactly where we lost some time, what the theoretical best output was based on previous things. There's a lot of things that got into this dashboard, and it's all powered by our SDK behind the scenes.
Yeah, because if I'm understanding it correctly, if I were to have like a few CSV files with like some little bit of data, it would not be too hard for any agent to actually create such a dashboard, right? But the difficult thing here is that we're tackling a lot of data, high sampling frequencies, a huge amount of channels, like could be thousands, and still this all works pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. So the cool part about the demo is not necessarily that the AI can code and make dashboards. We already knew that. The thing is that it actually knows what the data is. It knows the domain, that it's so accessible, that it's accessible from everywhere. The engineer can be in Stuttgart or in Antwerp. It doesn't matter. Everybody's accessing the same data. It's also so easy for the agent to explore, use this tool. And that's the idea that we had behind MarpleDB. Is the hard part is setting the data ready for other tools to build upon. So before it was dashboards and scripting, but now, of course, it's starting to become agents. And it's amazing what these things can do. But then we, as a company, start to do the hard part, which is scaling, reliability, all these difficult problems that we've solved the last couple of months that we want to, give to the people.
Yeah, and so on the data front of things, what does MarpleDB as a foundation layer to actually make the data accessible? What does it do stepwise to get the data from the raw files, which could be MDF files, TDMS, anything else, to a queryable source?
I'll just quickly show the UI. So I don't usually come here anymore, but so this is the stream that Matthias set up. So he has his LMU set up at home. Every time he finishes a session, it gets uploaded here. Then these CSVs are parsed according to a couple of settings, made sure that they're very clean, very well set up. Then also you can enrich the data with pre-processing rules. So you can say, for example, this is the description and units if that's what that was not in the data. And all these things can also inform the agent, of course, while it's exploring your data to say this and that I can use to actually solve the user's question without him having to know what's going on behind the scenes.
So all the data gets unified into a single queryable data lake.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then in terms of storage, there's a lot of data going into MarpleDB. What is powering the storage layer underneath the product?
Yes, I'll go ahead and show you that. If you want to, I can also show you quickly the Marple SDK
Maybe let's quickly dive into that in detail.
So this is actually a bit of a short explanation of the Marple SDK. So you start with just connecting, you get yourself a stream, and after that you can import a dataset. So you do stream.push file, you wait for its import, and you can start looking up datasets. Say stream, get me the datasets, where metadata, turn it into a pandas data frame. All these are tools that the AI natively knows how to use because it's pandas, Python, these things, they are very well trained on this type of scenario. But then we provide the data, of course, and then you can get data across data sets, and then after that, the AI just starts doing its magic, of course. Yeah.
So pushing for getting the data in, like it could be a test bench or like some vehicle, and then the other parts are for querying a database.
Exactly, and then all automated, all part of the workflow, and making sure that everything is perfectly nice and fine.
Yeah. And so when we push a file, how is the data translated? Where does it end up?
So all this data is pushed. So we build upon, so the main data lake is Iceberg. It's built upon the core object storage, so it's probably S3 if you know it. We have an amazing technology for pushing insane throughput through to these data lakes. Then we also have the hot storage to power some queries to make those fast. Also, all the metadata is stored there. And then we can push even like all data down to the archive tier. And this is the cool part about MarpleDB is just the amount of volume that you can store and use. A cost-effective way is the amazing part is that that's what we built MarpleDB upon. Is just we turn your Marple. If you have like an insane amount of engineering data lying around somewhere, you cannot access it. Turn it into something that's queryable, that's usable, and in this way, actually useful across your team.
Yeah, so because if you would just push this data directly into a Postgres database or Timescale or something similar, you would run into like scalability issues. Probably.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Postgres, I think, is immediately off the table. The data sizes that we're looking at, it's just too expensive, too slow. The ingestion speeds are not there.
And also vice versa. If you were to rely purely on object storage, probably there's also a problem in that side.
Exactly. We have solved a lot of issues there also in terms of like access and quick usability.
So it's a combination that actually makes the
exactly. And so the cool part is also that these are like open tools. So at a certain point, you don't need MarpleDB anymore. The data is still yours. It's from day one till the end. It's your data on open standards, Iceberg and stuff. Of course, you lose all the orchestration and ingestion and all that behind it, but still, the data itself is yours, of course.
Yeah, agree. All right, super cool. You're mentioning huge data sources. We're pushing all the data into MarpleDB. In the Autumn Summit, so 6 months ago, we talked a lot about the ingestion performance of MarpleDB. At that point, we also invested in achieving the top of market ingestion performance. I think still currently it holds. It has the best batch ingestion performance available currently for any data solution for engineering data. Still, we had the feeling we had to invest more in this and even improve the throughput even more. What did we actually do to achieve that?
So that's the problem is that we originally had, as you said, like the very fast single VM ingestion or single file ingestion that is top of market. It's really cool what we did there to turn an MDF file into Iceberg. With that kind of throughput is very nice, but still that's only one file. And then after that, you still have to solve, for example, some companies have 10 files uploading at the same time or 100 files at the same time, and you want to solve that horizontal scaling issue, and that's when we brought out the concept of ingestion nodes. So that was released, I think, a month ago on VPCs first, but I think at a certain point we will bring it to the SaaS too. And the basic idea is that as many nodes as you want can parse in parallel your files. The throughput, of course, just multiplies by the number of nodes you have. And up till now, we have not found a limit yet.
So it's horizontal scaling of the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, super cool.
Nice.
All right. One last question about MarpleDB before we move on to different parts. You mentioned SaaS customers, VPC customers. We also have a lot of European customers active in aerospace and defense. They're very concerned about their data security. For those customers, they're asking for a European solution. Do you have any update on what we offer hosting-wise for those customers?
So of course we already were an EU company based in Belgium with like a little offshoot in Spain. And then also we had the option to host your data on our AWS servers in EU or even put the entire stack on-premise. But I'm proud to announce that actually today we also have the entire solution based on EU infrastructure providers. So for example, Hertzner or any other, you can use from of today to host your data.
Great, all right. Thanks a lot, Jan, for being here.
No problem.
A quick reminder for people, if they have a question about what Jan just talked about, do put your comments and questions in the chat box. And we'll get back to them in a minute. Jan, thanks for joining. Before we move on to Marple Insights, we will now take a look at a customer testimonial. Elixir Aircraft is using Marple Insight and Marple DB to power their flight testing campaigns. So let's take a look at how they're using Marple and what the benefits are for them.
Hi, I am Jocelyn Laborier from Elixir Aircraft, and I work here as a flight test engineer. At Elixir, we are based in La Rochelle, and we design and manufacture the Elixir 4th generation full carbon composite aircraft, certified according to EASA CS23 and FAA Part 23 specifications. Our mission is to provide the most recent, modern, efficient and safe aircraft for flight schools and flying clubs. So within the flight test department, we are responsible for developing the aircraft, aerodynamics, checking system operations and demonstrating compliance with different certification specifications during flight tests. Ultimately, a certification flight test report is written and delivered to the authorities, supported by data, to demonstrate to the authorities that the aircraft meets all specifications. Marple plays an essential role in the way the team operates, from data storage and organization to analysis and reporting. Depending on the project phase, Marple is involved both in the development of the aircraft and its capabilities, as well as in the compliance demonstration and reporting to the authorities. For example, we used extensively Marple to develop the Elixir Plus, which is the latest version of the aircraft. Hundreds of flights were performed and conducted across several test campaigns to evaluate different aerodynamics configurations. The feature we primarily use is the visualizer. Compared to previous test campaigns, it has been a complete game changer. After each flight, data is uploaded in Marple DB, processed in seconds, and displayed through a simple drag-and-drop interface. This allows us to debrief after the flight immediately the data, and also complement the crew's in-flight notes with data, providing precise insights from the test. During short and intense test campaigns, Marple helps us develop valuable time and take better decisions. During flight testing, traceability is key to progress. When hundreds of flights are performed and multiple configurations are tested, it is crucial to efficiently navigate between data and flight reports. In Marple, metadata organizes the flights, the configurations, and all relevant information in a simple and structured way. Time is no longer wasted searching through file explorers or opening multiple documents to find the right information. Combined with a project dashboard, it provides all the necessary insights to plan the test campaigns, what has been completed, what remains to be done, and which configurations have passed or failed.
Wow, that was really cool to see. With me in the studio, I brought Simon.
Hi, good
hey,
evening.
Simon. Simon will tell us a lot about Marple Insights, which we also just saw being used by Elixir. Simon, you're a software engineer at Marple, but you are also in your free time participating in the solar racing team of Belgium. And in 3 weeks, you're even going to the US to participate in a race.
Yes, I'll join the team there to participate in the American Solar
Super
Challenge.
cool. And the team is also using Marple.
Yes.
What feature are you looking forward to most of using or trying out during the race?
That's most definitely the reporter feature, which we rolled out a few weeks ago. Will be super cool to see the automated reports rolling in to the Slack and email channels after every test or race session. Yeah.
And so these reports, you're saying they're automated. Indeed, one aspect of them is that they are, if there's something happening in notification, there's a system that actually can push a report from Marple Insights straight to the users, to the engineers, via multiple communication channels. How does that work?
Well, so when you upload the dataset to MarpleDB, either manually or through the SDK or whatever method you use, we at the end of the import we check which reports apply to this dataset, and then we will automatically generate the PDF reports for this dataset, and also send it to whatever channels you have configured. So they can be either Microsoft Teams chat or a Slack channel or a set of email addresses. And actually, earlier today, I received a report of a test session they did.
Okay, cool.
The team did right now, so it might be
Let's
cool
have
to
a
have a
look,
look
yeah.
at it. So we get a quick overview of what the data or what the report is. Then we get a nice AI summary, which we can talk about a bit more later on. Let's skip that for now. And then we get some general metadata about the dataset, so we know what's going on, so we know which car it was, who drove it, where the test happened, all these kind of stats.
Right.
And I guess most importantly, at the end, we get the PDF attached to this email. And when we open it, we see the actual reports. So in this case, for example, we get the same metadata again. We get a very quick overview of the most important signals to just get a quick idea of what happened during the test. So
And that's something you chose yourself, what to see here.
Yeah, so I configured which plots to use in this project, what order, and then they get automatically filled with the data from the dataset.
Yeah, okay.
So in this case, we see that they did like a nice morning charge, and then they started driving, and you can see the incoming power there, for example. Here we get some more details on the solar panel, for example. So the incoming irradiance, so how much the sun is shining, and then how much power the solar panel generated. So we can derive the solar panel efficiency from this. We get some more stats about individual components, such as the MPPTs, which is a part of the solar panel. We can see that most of the operation happens along this line of high efficiency, which is good. On the right hand, we can see that it's also for MPPT 1 and 2, which corresponds to two of the strings of the panel, are very nicely linear. But for the third one, for example, there's like more two kind of operating modes, the one up here and one down here. This is because of the string is situated next to the canopy, so where the driver is sitting. So when the shadow of the canopy falls on that part of the panel, we get lower efficiency there. So that's it's very nice to see this coming in the data. So
and why is it two modes then? Because is it always like driving in like one direction or the other one?
Yeah, so it's either there is shadow or there's no shadow.
Okay.
So the upper one is no shadow, and the lower region is with shadow.
Cool.
Then we get some more stats about how the motor is performing, which regime are we driving in, which powers did we use most, like all interesting things for the relevant people in the team to have a look at, to know if they should investigate some stuff more. Also, all tires were working well with no punctures there, so the pressure was fine during the entire test, except for a small drop in signal there. And then we come to the battery, for example, where we get some key stats on the battery. And apparently, there's one value that's flagged in red, so the minimum temperature was lower than some threshold we set, which is quite remarkable, especially the 0 degrees is maybe a bit of an odd temperature. So we can, I think that's one of the most powerful features of this report, is that you can click on any number, on any figure that's in there, and you get directed immediately to the corresponding analysis project in Marple Insight.
So basically now we're opening the web view of Marple,
exactly,
and it's loading the same data.
Yeah, so now we can really dig into the data. So the data has already been loaded. It comes from MarpleDB, and we can visualize it here. And then we can clearly see that, for example, this minimum temperature is caused by just a very brief drop in signal here. So we should let it know to the data acquisition guys. And maybe it's also relevant to show this graph in the report for next time, so we know that if this kind of things happen again, that we can just kind of ignore it. So let's maybe show how easy it is to edit it to the report. So we can just go to the layout of the report, scroll to that page in the actual report, so we can see the data loading here as well, and we can just drag a new plot block into. Sometimes you have to. It's a bit tricky to get the right position, but once it's there, you just select which project you want to get the data from. We know we want to get a time series graph there, and then we select the correct one. So that's this one, if I'm not mistaken. So and then we can see No, that's the wrong one. That's the temperature, the battery. So we should take this one, and then we can clearly see the drop here, and now we have this as reference. For
so this need to give some more context to
Yeah.
the people
And
looking at the report.
So now for all future notifications, this figure will be included there, and it's will make it easier to spot what's going on with the car.
And so if we have multiple tests for any report, if you click on the graph, it will go to the specific test that you were looking at in the report.
Exactly, to the same top in the project, to the correct figure.
Super cool. Okay, really exciting. You talked a little bit about an AI summary in the beginning that gives some context to the user receiving the reports. Can you explain a little bit how does it work?
Yeah, so as we mentioned, the report's automatically generated, the PDF itself, and then once that's created, we send this PDF to an AI model along with some extra explanation that you can add to your report template, where you can describe what's going on in the report, so I can explain that this is data about a solar car, which signals are important to me, which are not, to really give some context there. And then this is used by the AI model to extract like a main headline, a main feature about this report, so which we can see here in the summary. And then when we click on it, we can get like the full explanation, all the things it flagged. So for example, apparently there were some MPPTs working below their baseline, which is flagged there. Might be interesting to have a look at later.
Right.
So that's makes it even easier to get your data out of the report.
And what kind of models are powering this AI?
Well, it's still an experimental feature. We're testing a lot with it, testing different providers, combining stuff. But also I think, which is probably for a lot of customers very interesting as well, that they can bring their own model. So you can, if you already have a sandboxed environment where your data is secure, then we can ensure that it never leaves your own infrastructure and it doesn't go places where you don't want it to go.
Exactly.
So that will be very nice for some of our bigger customers.
Very excited to see this. This was the reporting. I think it's applicable to multiple use cases, going from automotive to aerospace, manufacturing. Specifically for aerospace customers, we also shipped some really cool improvements. Are you able to share any of this?
Yeah, definitely. But maybe let's start with how it used to be for them. If I'm an aerospace engineer, I wanted to know what the plane was doing during flight, let's say in this part of a corner in the flight, and I wanted to get a feeling of what the plane was positioned like, then my best option would have been to plot the raw time series signals of the roll angle, the pitch angle, and the heading of the plane, and then try to imagine what that would look like. At least I'm not possible to really figure out what it would look like in 3D. I guess most aerospace engineers would not either. So that's why we shipped 2 new plot types actually for them, which are shown here. So this is the same data, but just visualized in a way, more intuitive way, I think. So on the one hand, the primary flight display, what everyone knows from within the cockpit. Aerospace engineers will definitely know how it works. And then you can just see at any point in your flight what it was during the flight.
Yeah, so you can see the orientation move while you scroll through data.
See the position, the attitude, the height, the vertical speed, the actual speed of the plane, everything is in there. And then to make it even more intuitive, we actually brought a 3D model of a plane into your Marple Insight, so you can really see what it's like. Here it's flying somewhat northeast, but then in the corner you can really see it banking. You can really get a feeling of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I can bring any model to that?
Yeah.
Does it mean if I'm an automotive customer, I might as well bring a car model?
Yeah. So you can put in any 3D model you have in there. So if you're an automotive engineer, you can put in your car there. I've not seen many cars positioned like this in reality, but
I hope not.
this is still the same plane data, but with the car on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have the 4 wheels on the ground. Yeah. Okay, right, super cool. These are all features available already in Marple Insights for all our customers. Looking a little bit ahead towards the future, we have a lot of things on the roadmap, a lot of things that we'll building in the coming months. What specifically are you looking forward to implement?
I think I'm doubting between 2 features. One of them is actually not an Insight feature, but a MarpleDB feature. That's where we will make it possible to create new signals on ingestion. So when you upload a file at the end of the import process, we will have Python scripts that can really generate new signals for you. can be as complex as what you want. And I think this will make also Marple Insight much more powerful, because it will be much easier to define and reuse calculated signals and get more powerful stuff in there. Also even bring like full simulation models, compare your data to the model. So that's one thing.
I think that's indeed been asked a lot by customers
Definitely.
to actually compare the real measurement data with simulated data.
Exactly. So that's so it will all run automatically built in. So that's one thing. On the other hand, is really an insight feature which will be thresholds. So maybe I can already show a very rough mock-up we made there. So then you can define this kind of plots or things where you, for specific signals, you can specify upper, lower bounds, warning bounds. Either do it statically and hard code the limits, or do it based on metadata, or derive it from historic data. And then you can really see where your current data set is positioned compared to historic data. You can also get warnings in case some limits are exceeded. So we can also just only send reports in case something went wrong or something went well, or do other kind of notifications.
So it's basically building on top of the same concept you were showing before. For example, the battery, let's say, the mismeasurement.
That would have been flagged here indeed, and maybe immediately sent to the correct battery engineer instead of me having to check this.
Really cool. Okay. Exciting things ahead. I want to wish you a lot of luck implementing these things.
Thank you.
And also thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, and
really nice
looking forward to what Matthias is presenting later.
All right. Thanks a lot. For the people watching, you can still submit questions in the chat box, and we'll hop over to the Q&A. So I'd like to invite Matthias once more to the studio. We have a few questions coming in. Really cool to see.
Nice.
So Matthias, did you follow the live stream?
Yes, we did, in the room next door here. Jan and I followed it, or first with Simon. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I'm a bit jealous that they could show the platform and I had to stick with my slides, but that's for next time.
Okay, we'll need to host another one of these to give you also a bit of room for the notes. All right, we have quite some questions coming in.
Nice.
I see a first one from Zach Mills. He's saying, thanks for putting this event forward. Super cool Elixir video. In my flight testing campaign, so that's an aerospace use case, a flight comes with multiple test points that I uploaded from the test cards. Can I get these timestamps in Marple? So probably indeed multiple sections in a flight. Can these be imported in Marple in some way and used?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I saw this question appear when I was watching live, and I think one of our users even already replied, saying that this was possible. So whoever that user was, thank you for that. But just to elaborate, yes, definitely possible. We have many different ways in getting segments, we call those segments, into Marple, which is quite nice because then you can very easily overlay the right things on top of each other. So if you do different test points with maybe do the same test but with different configurations, you can easily overlay it. Also helps you a lot with navigating what happened exactly where. And we made it quite flexible such that it can be coming from a signal itself, but also can come from external sources or even Excel sheets if it's really needed.
So it can be flight segments, but it might as well be labs in motorsports, for example, which is a similar application.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay. Really cool. I think a next question from Juliana Silva is saying, when you say data stream, do you take live telemetry data as well? That's indeed a question I think often people ask and has not been covered yet today.
Yeah. This is sometimes a difficult topic also internally with Marple. We always split the data flow or data stream in two different ways or parts. One is what we could call the batch ingestion or the cable or the file-based workflow, where you do a test, you gather it all in a file, which is still quite common in automotive and aerospace. And then you put it into the database. That's one flow. But we can also do it live, definitely. This is where we distinguish a little bit from classical time series databases that we offer the two split. But if you have a live data stream, you can even overlay it with historical data and so on. So it's definitely possible.
And I think also in one of the latest releases, we also made it possible to cool down the live data, which means that then from that point on, it's basically treated similarly as a data set which would originate from a file.
Yeah, that's also what Jan was explaining. We have the Postgres and the Parquet, which is really nice for scalability, but then also performance. The live data we can immediately put in Postgres, make it queryable, and then once it builds up, we can actually cool the data. I think cooling down is a bit of an internal term we found,
true.
But indeed we can cool the data and kind of like not necessarily archive it, but make it available in the Parquet as well.
Jan was saying you are not the technical guy, but I feel like we can easally talk technical stuff
But
together.
he likes to make those jokes.
That's true.
At least he said I was a good sim racer, so I'll forgive him.
That's true. All right. I think a lot of questions still coming in. Let's have a look here. Devrim was asking, for AI-assisted reports, can the agent detect faults based on the physical configuration of the target automatically? Or do you have to specify these cases manually by giving it examples? I don't understand the question 100%, do you?
I think I do. It's a very good question, because I think this kind of boils down to what we expect the AI can do. And I think it all matters on how much context you give it. In a way, I would say yes. The AI asset report can detect things, but the more information you'll give it, the more targeted or the better the performance is going to be. And I think there you can go two ways. One, the AI summaries are based on the report you make. So if you give nice content and nice metrics and checks inside of the report, then you'll also get better summaries. On the other hand, there are also ways to inform our AI. This is also something we are building on further, that you can give it more context with, for example, a document about your physical model, or I think Simon also showed something about the thresholds. That information can then also be used to check if things are right or wrong. But yeah, it all depends on how much context you give it, I think.
Yeah. And I think in theory, there's no limit to it, in the sense that the AI could even, let's say, make a call to our system which runs a model, actually, to do a dry run with the same test inputs, but maybe evaluating what the model would do, and then also use that as a basis.
It makes me think of the webinar we did with Bugatti Rimac, where they used neural net, or used Marple data to train their neural net and check if it was right. Well, would be cool to indeed.
I think investing into these kind of systems makes sense.
All right, for next update we'll have it ready.
We'll have to. All right. Another question from Juliana here. Comparing real test data with simulation data, besides the file import that is normalized into MarpleDB, do you also connect with external simulation tools? Okay, that ties a little bit into what we were saying already. Yep. I think building on top of the post-processing that Simon was also looking forward to, I think there's definitely ways in which we can embed models into MarpleDB.
Definitely. We already have customers that built their own layer on top of MarpleDB, where once there's new data, they make certain predictions for the next day, feed it in, and then can compare it. So definitely, yeah. I
think also a flow we often see is that people are using the SDK to, for example, check if there's a new data set, or even on a webhook trigger, and then indeed evaluate some things, and if necessary, push some data back into MarpleDB.
Indeed. I think that's a nice part about our architecture at the moment. It's relatively open, so our users can actually build those things, and we can actually support many flows. So I think if you're referring to simulations in terms of Simulink or direct connection, you'll still have to do some parts yourself, but I think that's also the power, that we leave it open so you can actually link with everything, and you don't have to rely on all the connectors we've built.
And I think indeed that's also with the vision that we have. We are not tied to a specific type of hardware. We are just an open data lakehouse, which means any file format you have, any simulation you have, it's a matter of pushing it in and out using our SDK. That's the vision.
There was even a follow-up question, not sure if you read it out loud already.
No.
Question, do you treat this real data versus simulator data differently? Actually, we don't necessarily treat it differently. So for us, it's the same. But it's up to the user to indeed flag one as simulator, one as data, real data, or you can flag it as however you want, and then those flags you can reuse in the different...
Exactly. You could even have two reporting flows, for example, which have different graphs or different conditions depending on these data streams.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think we have about time for one more question.
Yeah, I think there was one from
Lily
Judge as well.
Exactly, yeah. So indeed, Lily Judge mentioned on the report demo just now, your colleague mentioned that I can get emailed, which is indeed what was showed. Can the email come only when a dataset fails, or when it has certain tags?
Only so no. So yes, by default, that's the easiest one if there's a new data set, the easiest kind of trigger to understand. But you can also do it based on conditions, which can be very useful, or indeed based on certain tags. So for example, if you make the distinction between simulation and real, you could say, for all the simulations, I don't want to have all the reports in my inbox. Yeah. But then if there's a real data set, then indeed trigger it. So yes, a bit up to you how you want to configure it and what kind of triggers. Yeah. And again, also there, we're expanding this to make even more complex triggers because our customers, they always ask for some new and exotic things, and we have a lot of work to accommodate for it.
No, I think indeed, the more we provide customers the possibility to configure this, the more they can come up with use cases that we never envisioned.
Yeah, and then when you give them new things, and then they ask for even more exotic things, so that's the way it goes.
Exactly, okay. But if that's how things go, I think I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's about it, the time we had left for the Q&A.
Perfect.
Any more questions that were not answered, we're happy to answer them on the chat and also reach out to you via email. If you're not watching live and still have a question, do not hesitate to reach out to us again via email, Gleep, or any of the usual channels. And I just would like to thank you very much for being here. It's really nice to be able to do these kind of things, have people that are hyped to come and see what we're building. We hope to see you next at one of the physical events or even digital. Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.